does a Regis What does a Regis divorce, a Regis bankruptcy, and a Regis personal injury claim have in common? Regis lawyers. Lawyers who care. Convenient, affordable, respectful, and experienced. We work 100% for the 99%. Over 20 years, we've helped thousands throughout the Hudson Valley, New York City, and Long Island. For a free consultation with an experienced attorney, call or text us at 212-766-1100. Ici, hablamos español.
The Cap or No Cap. I am your host, Kevin C. Meggett. I miss Mr. Andy King, but he's been very busy being doing the whole grassroots organizing, staying in the community thing. So when I get him, I'm happy to have him, and when he's not here, I still give you the show. So I believe he's having a walk coming up, a unity walk. Mr. King is having a unity walk on August the 7th from Gun Hill Post Lanes in the Bronx to Evander Child's football field, where they will have this Fun in the Sun that he helped create. And so come out. We're asking that all people come and in the name of unity, whatever walk of life you're from, come out. Muslim, Christian, Jew, whatever you are, Moor, whatever you are, come out, gay, straight, whatever you are, we just going to be unified that day, and we going down to Evander football field. And so the next thing is I have a pop-up shop that I'm doing in conjunction with Shaniqua Moore, who ran a very good race, by the way, for the 12th City Council District. I kind of predicted what would happen. Pamela Johnson split the votes and Kevin Rowley got the nod. So it was nothing new, nothing surprising. All I ask, family, is that you stay aware, know your politics, know your community, know that there are politics going on in your community, and the resources that are coming in, no one is giving to you. This is your money. Because some folks will say, I don't like taking government money. I'll take it all because it's the people's money. So we're having a pop-up shop with a purpose. We're celebrating the life of Bugs the Bandit, who was a young rapper out of Columbus, Ohio, who was murdered in a botched robbery. And, we're going to do a concert, showcase concert, commemorating her life. She was a very bright star. And, too many times we hear now she's a falling star. And so we got to get our act together in the community so that we could actually make real change, not just in the Bronx, but all over. This goes for the Bronx. This goes for New Jersey, Connecticut, South Carolina, North Carolina, Oregon, wherever you're from, California. And speaking of California, I'm bringing on a very, very exciting guest, and she is from California. And I'm just happy and appreciative that I was able to bring her on the show. We have a lot of history together. She is the E in entrepreneur. She's an entrepreneur. She has her own beverage line. She has a women's football league association. She has her own television show. She's very pro sports as it pertains to women, and that is primarily because women don't get the proper due that the men do. So we don't have this equality that we talk about, and especially women. Women don't get the same equality that men do when it comes to certain tasks and jobs that they do. I love watching Clarissa Shields, the boxer. Shout out to Clarissa Shields. I love Layla Ali, and shout out to her. But they never got the money that they deserve like the Floyd Mayweather Juniors and the Mike Tysons and so forth and so on. So we're going to talk a little bit about that, but we're going to touch a lot on everything. But I want everyone around the world to welcome my guest, Miss Lupe Rose. How are you, Lupe? Lupe, you there?
I am. Sorry about that.
No, that's fine. That's fine. Welcome to Cap or No Cap. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing good. How are you, Cap?
I'm doing outstanding. Thank you so much for being on the show. So let's start. Give me a little bit of background information. Before I get to where you're at now, where are your humble beginnings?
Man, I'm one who was, and I'm not afraid to talk about that. I actually appreciate my humble beginnings. I was raised with a mother on welfare, 5 children, absent father, and raised in the ghetto. Moved from place to place. I had my first level of stability from as far as I can remember to age 12, and then it just became a series of moving to different places until we became residents of the jungle in LA, which is almost maybe common to your projects, or just your roughest area, or one of the roughest areas of LA. It's interesting when you want more for yourself and you're taught not to become a product of your environment. And so that is like the humble beginnings that I promised myself to never forget, because my mother was illiterate. We taught her children taught her how to read and write, and she had her first child at 14 years old, dropped out of school at that age. And so there's a lot of history there with a lack of education, and having to put myself through the college that I did attend, and the schooling that I did attend. But it boils down to wanting more for yourself, and wanting to build a level of stability or financial stability. And I think for me, that's what it was. Seeing the area that I grew up in, and knowing that this isn't my final destination. This isn't where I want to be. And in fact, I went to college and came home. And when I came home, I went to college through a program that was offered in the community. And the program, it was actually a Job Corps program. And those of you who are familiar with Job Corps, you go attend a program, and then they give you this big check at the end if you follow through with all of your schooling and things of that nature. And with that check, I moved my mother out of the jungle into a home, and from there it was just all the way up. And so I'm glad that I've had those opportunities that were provided for me through our government. I think those opportunities are essential and very much needed for people who want to take advantage of those, and who don't want to settle for the statistical product that people think that they're going to put us in, those of us who come from that type of environment.
It's amazing that because I know a lot of your backstory, but I didn't know it all, because I didn't know you was a product of Job Corps. And I'm an alumni of South Bronx Job Corps. When I came out of high school, I actually finished high school, but when I came out of high school, it was in a typical house. In a typical black house, it's like you either go to college or you go in the military, but you're going to do something. So I had this, so I really didn't know what I wanted to do at that moment. So I went into Job Corps. So I was able to just go in for the actual training, and I took like a little bit of bookkeeping. And then I think a year and a half later, something like that. And I lived on campus. Shout out to South Bronx Job Corps. I lived on campus, and a year and a half later, I had joined the Navy and said, well, that's what I'm going to do. But you're absolutely right. Job Corps allotted me and afforded me a lot of opportunities, and it's a government program that when you see things that are working, you should invest more into it. So I hope that they're never at a deficit of being cut for funding, but should always be refund to the highest level so that they could prosper. They've done a lot for inner city kids, not only in the Bronx, but all over the United States of America.
Absolutely. Well, you know what? It's up to us, people that have excelled from that, from that teaching or from that opportunity to continue to dedicate a number of resources or whatever resources that we have,
Right.
Especially financial resources, to make sure that we continue to allow these programs to develop for inner city youth.
Absolutely, absolutely. And speaking, and you know, I want to say it kind of molded me also to the person that I am. You know, because I always had this give back attitude, and your give back game is crazy. We'll talk about that a little bit later. I mean, you've done so much that, you know. So currently, you went into from that you went into music. Am I correct?
100%.
And you were a DJ in California.
Absolutely. So from there, I moved from LA to North Carolina.
Okay.
And I went from being a student at Job Corps to working for Job Corps. And then I from there, it allowed me to have opportunities there, going to college,
Right.
while working for the Job Corps Center. I moved back home, and I knew that I wanted to be a part of the entertainment industry. I was managing my brother's group at a very young age, and going to, the radio stations, knocking on doors, feeding them CDs, that whole
Right.
guerrilla marketing that we appreciate back
Right.
in the days, going to the radio stations and meeting with management and things of that nature, that I had an opportunity to meet with Big Boy and become an intern, and 92 The Beat back in the days, K-Day back in the days, and I interned from place to place. I was a part of Word on the Streets with Dominique DePrima. I was like an intern there, one of her shows. Man, this is like over 30 years ago, and I knew
Wow.
just my passion for the industry and the music industry allowed me to excel into entertainment. And from there, I launched my own label. I went from management to launching a label to distribution with Universal Music Group. And that's where you and I met. And,
Right.
I met the great Nini Ali, who's still, working on her craft. I think she was anywhere between 8. I think she was somewhere
young.
around 8 years old, 8 and 10
She was
years old.
so young,
And,
yes.
she was just so young, and to see her growth is extremely amazing. But we had opportunities there. We met, and I think it was a godsend. And I think that sometimes we just don't know the direction, our path, and the purpose, right?
Absolutely.
Until we get to places like now. Here we are, almost 15 years later, still talking, still vibing.
Yeah.
And appreciating the path that we've come from. But
Absolutely.
yeah, entertainment industry.
Absolutely. And I met some amazing people in your circle. You had your circle is still your circle. You have a very tight circle. So I remember Westwag Music Group. If you Google Nini Ali, you could see Hopeless. That was she was signed to you, and you spoiled her accordingly.
Hey, that's my baby. No matter what, I still spoil her.
Yes,
no
you do.
Whatever she wants, I want to make sure that she doesn't talk about it, but she's about it.
Right.
And, I love Nini, and her humility. I don't know too many artists that have had an opportunity to say that I have a song with Maya Angelou, or I've come from this
Right.
scenario. Nini broke grounds at a very young age. She was 6 years old, and
Right.
I don't think that Nini is still hasn't received her proper accolades.
Right.
She's 21 years.
22. No, 23. I think. I'm not sure. It's 22 or
23
20.
years old.
I don't
She's
know.
been doing this
Right. Since
she
yeah.
was six years old.
Absolutely.
And I think that things are about to turn around for her. But nevertheless, you have this young girl that has come from that poet into the music industry, and she's definitely earned her dues.
Yes.
And,
yes.
And she's amazing. And I don't know too many 6-year-olds who know how to even facilitate or put their words together the way that she does. But you know what? It all boils down to having a great foundation. And kudos to you for building
Oh,
that
thank you.
foundation and that stability, for being her father and making sure that she has had the right people to work with. Sorry, I'm working from home, so you get the doorbell.
That's cool.
But I appreciate all of those. I appreciate all of the things that you've done for her. Because of you, I think she's so well rounded and grounded the way that she
Thank
should
you
be
so much,
as an
Luke.
artist.
I totally appreciate that. And I appreciate every time we come out to California to see you, which will be soon. I will be making my way out there really, really soon. So, you know, we'll talk offline. But talk to me, how did you come up with your own beverage? And what's the name of it? And what do you have?
So, She Beverage Company was founded in 2009. We launched it in 2014.
Okay.
And, you know, I think coming from certain industries, I think you could appreciate that, because in the entertainment industry, you get taken advantage of. For lack of better words, you get taken advantage of
Right.
sometimes. Always being in the line of marketing and branding, that was my forte. I've done that aside from working in the entertainment industry. I've worked with a lot of artists and businesses with launching their brands. I launched a brand, a tequila brand, for a friend of a friend. And the backstory is that person didn't pay me. And I walked them through the entertainment industry, all of the events that happen. You get those big events like BET Awards and Golden Globes and all these awards that we participate in as a part managers or management in the entertainment industry.
Luke, hold on to that thought. I got to take a real quick commercial break. I'm gonna come right back to you.
You got
We'll
it.
be right back.
Okay.
What does a Regis divorce, a Regis bankruptcy, and a Regis personal injury claim have in common? Regis lawyers. Lawyers who care. Convenient, affordable, respectful, and experienced. We work 100% for the 99%. Over 20 years, we've helped thousands throughout the Hudson Valley, New York City, and Long Island. For a free consultation with an experienced attorney, call or text us at 212-766-1100. Ici, hablamos español.
Millennium TV, bridging. Millennium TV, bridging communities worldwide. We broadcast diverse international content from Europe, Asia, Africa, and now right here in the USA. Watch us via Roku on your smart TV. Submit your own content to 1530entertainmentllc@gmail.com. Download the Millennium TV app from the App Store to stream our shows anywhere, anytime. Millennium TV.
Okay, we're back. We're chopping it up with Lupe Rose, CEO of She Beverages, and she was telling me about how she came into doing beverages, and we were talking about the BET Awards and the various awards and how she did something for a tequila brand and didn't get paid, and so many, and that's one of the business practices that I hate that we do amongst us. We look for homeboy and homegirl discounts, but we'll pay other people, other groups, we'll pay them just freely. It's never asked, but we always try to talk each other down. But this ain't about me right now, it's about you, Lupe. Can you continue, please?
Yeah, I appreciate that. Long story short, I actually I helped that brand excel, and exceed in the entertainment industry, and for lack of better words, I didn't get paid, and so I was sitting depressed, really, because there was a lot of money that I was waiting on, because I did quite a bit of work for that client, and my partner said, hey, you know what, maybe it's time that you just venture out and do something for yourself. You've done so much for so many other people and promoted not only music, but brands, et cetera, et cetera. And that's when that aha moment happened. And I said, well, you know what, I can do it bigger and better. And I created She Beer. It went from She Beer to She Beverage Company because I launched a beer brand shortly after I started manufacturing water and launched the water portion of She Beverage Company. And then we launched wine and other drinks like energy drinks and supplement drinks and things of that nature that we changed our name. Our original name was She Beer, and we changed that to She Beverage Company. And now we have a 10,000 square foot facility as a tasting room. We have 4 locations, a manufacturing site, warehousing, and things of that nature. So really proud of what we've built over here in Cali.
That is amazing. I mean, it's an amazing story. Last time I've been out there, you were putting the space together, and I seen the actual place where the brewery was going to be done, and it was just, I was just amazed. And we went to a baseball game, and we were in a skybox, and you know, like I could just remember it like it was yesterday. We had so much fun when we were out there. I think when I go out there, it's always, oh man, it's over that quick, you know.
I know.
That's always been my allegory, like, oh man, I gotta leave tomorrow, really.
I know.
But talk to me about some of the water. What kind of waters do you have? I mean, is it like mineral water or anything like that, or vitamin water?
So we have spring water,
okay.
And we have we created prenatal water for moms.
Oh, nice.
And we have alkaline water, electrolyte water, anything that keeps you hydrated.
Right, because a lot of moms, they don't realize, especially brand new moms, they lose a lot of nutrients and stuff after giving birth. Right. So
100%, and they don't know how much alkaline to digest. They know that they have to take in some, but we've created that. We've created different waters we created a supplement called Supplement H2O. The Supplement H2O literally caters to the anatomy in a very unique way. So the Supplement H2O, we cater to children that are autistic.
Amazing.
Women that are pregnant in a different way than the mom's H2O. The supplement H2O is called Life, and we cater to moms who are giving birth. And we have the supplement H2O caters to those moms in a way that we assist with spinal bifida, or you may wonder why, and how children are born with Down syndrome and cancer and different things of that nature. We created this water in a very unique way. I think that statistically, women are told to take prenatal vitamins and prenatal vitamins, not knowing that some of those prenatal vitamins can hurt, harm, and endanger the baby. There's certain vitamins in that prenatal water that has more elements than they should have. For instance, vitamin A should be at a 10 to 15%, and prenatal vitamins have it at 1,000%. And vitamins like vitamin A, for a pregnant mom or or baby, is what damages the baby. So we created those type of unique beverages that cater to the anatomy in such a way that it's mild, gentle, and it doesn't affect the growth of the baby or the stability of the baby while mom is carrying it. So we're really proud of that beverage. And then there's fit and weight loss and so many other different things that we've created that we're really proud of.
And all of this spun out of really water and beer, huh?
Water and beer.
So
I always want to see how I can deliver the best product and be better than my competition, and that's how that came about.
Speaking of competition, did you have any haters from the beer industry hating on you when you first came out?
Oh, come on, Kev, I still have those haters. I'm in a very conservative area in LA.
Right.
So they're used to I'm not the normal person that should be generating the type of income that I do and or building a business such as the one that I've built. And so, yeah, I've dealt with the haters and, the bearded, we call them the bearded brewers.
Right.
The brewery industry, first off, is supposed to be an industry where you collectively come together and you promote one another, you build one another up. And it's that whole the brewer industry is very, very different in beverages. And unfortunately, I haven't experienced that. But what I can say is, shout outs to Crown and Hops down in Inglewood, because they are a new minority owned, Black owned brewery, and they are on fire right now. And I reached out to them just to create that synergy and said, hey, I'm up here in the AV and I want to meet you. I would like to collaborate with you on some things. And they said, let's go, let's do it. And that's the reason and that's the why. And that's what we're supposed to be doing in this beverage industry. But shout out to them, really excited to be moving forward. But yeah, sometimes, or what I should go back and say is that, based off of our previous presidency, I think that Donald Trump let people think that it's okay to become racist, in this millennial age. Right. And we got to call a spade a spade. So, we've seen the insurrection. We've seen what's happened at the Capitol. We've witnessed hangings still and lynching of Black men and Black women during his tenure in office. Right. And so those people are the people that have come out and lashed out and they've falsified information. They've said things about me that, are not, not very warming or welcoming, but it's that bully that, it's funny, I was just having this conversation with Sonia, my business partner, and we were talking about the why do you think that people continue to bully? It's no different than that high school bully, that elementary bully, that continue to bully people that, after they've left high school, they're still looking for that element of reprieve or something that makes them feel, whole again, that they start, continuing to bully, people of color. And that's the bottom line. So Black woman, Black business, accelerating. And then you have the bullies that come out that try to diminish your shine or that try to make you look bad to your fan base.
Let me ask you a question. How did the pandemic affect your business, or did it affect it at all?
It affected us tremendously. I'm coming from a place of we are a pre-public company. We are, striving to become a publicly traded company. Right. I'm actually writing a book right now, and it's called The Black Wall Street Behind the White Walls. And I say that for a reason, because, we'll talk about the pandemic and how it affected us. It affected us tremendously. Not only do I have She Beverage Company, but I own the Women's Football League Association. I've acquired several other businesses because we are a business that is wanting to go public. We've acquired different businesses and grew our assets so that when we do become publicly traded, we have different revenue streams that can grow our stock and can grow the stock market. This is normal practices in business if you are like a Unilever or a Procter & Gamble. Procter & Gamble has an array of businesses, Unilever, Dove, and all these. So all these brands that sit under one umbrella. That has always been my goal, to create a big business that. A conglomerate, if you will, that is woman-owned and minority-owned, because we don't have that. Right. And so in doing so, how was I affected? It still puzzles me how you see people on the news every day who have generated a PPP loan or an EIDL loan, and they're buying Lamborghinis and homes and all of these things that they do. And they highlight them on the news and say, this person's going to jail because they bought 2 Lamborghinis and they got a $5 million or $10 million PPP loan, when, we're still struggling to get that PPP money as a small business just to take care of our employees. So, and it's amazing to me how people think that through a pandemic, you're still supposed to be the biggest business on the block. When we've had our doors closed for over a year,
Wow.
still paying our employees, still manufacturing product, still making sure that we don't fail and or go bankrupt. It's been a struggle.
And that's the part that I like, because people have referred to the pandemic as a plandemic, and to a certain degree, I say it was a plandemic because
100%.
prior to that, I think this has rooted out so many small Black and minority businesses were affected that will never, ever, ever come back. And when I asked you the question of how did this affect you, I was alluding to the PPP loan, and I guess you answered my question. There wasn't enough equity to certain groups of people of obtaining those PPP loans. Would you agree?
100%. And I think that what happened was we weren't educated on how to participate in the program. We participated in the program at a very small level because they don't educate you on what is needed so that you can obtain your level of PPP revenue or the disbursement that you should get as a Black business. However, it seems as though they've educated, other businesses, and I hate to say it, but non-minority businesses have been able to benefit. And then you have the Fortune 500 companies. Right. I've watched these leagues, and that I own the Women's Football League Association. But when you have the Lakers,
and hold on one second, because I want to jump right into the Women's Football League Association, but I'm gonna do that right after this quick commercial break. We'll be right back.
What does a Regis divorce, a Regis bankruptcy, and a Regis personal injury claim have in common? Regis lawyers. Lawyers who care. Convenient, affordable, respectful, and experienced. We work 100% for the 99%. Over 20 years, we've helped thousands throughout the Hudson Valley, New York City, and Long Island. For a free consultation with an experienced attorney, call or text us at 212-766-1100. Y sí, hablamos español.
Millennium TV, bridging communities worldwide. We broadcast diverse international content from Europe, Asia, Africa, and now right here in the USA. Watch us via Roku on your smart TV. Submit your own content to 1530entertainmentllc@gmail.com. Download the Millennium TV app from the App Store to stream our shows anywhere, anytime. Millennium TV.
And we're back. We're Cap or No Cap. I'm here with my illustrious host. My illustrious guest. I'm sorry. I'm missing you, Mr. King. I'm here with my illustrious guest, Miss Loopy Rose, CEO of She Beverages and Women's Football League Association. So before we went to break, you were talking about how the PPP loan we didn't have access to it like other groups have, like Fortune 500s, and I totally believe that was the plandemic part. I think this is how you press a reset button and we start all over and we build up white-owned businesses that keeps us in a consumer level. But you went from music, you went from Job Corps to music to beverages. Now sports and I think you're actually going into television yourself. Is that correct? You want to talk about that?
Yeah, I think the whole sports and entertainment industry. I'm going to finish the thought on the PPP loan because I have to make mention when we were talking about big sports, and trust me, I'm a huge fan of all sports, but here at home, we heard on the news that, the Lakers were one that was given a PPP loan of I think it was $60 million.
What?
So they gave him $60 million. I believe it was 60. It was either 40 or 60 million that they had provided them, and they ended up. One thing I can say, they gave it back because they actually, they actually started providing people, with that information, public information as to who received the funds. But when you have the Lakers, who is not a small business,
No.
and this is supposed to be for small businesses,
Right.
that received a 40 or $60 million loan, that takes a big chunk out of the resources that are available for the Los Angeles County, and that's where I reside. So, that pushes us back. That minimizes the loans that we're supposed to be receiving. And yes, sure, they gave it back, but they gave it back after due time. And it wasn't just the Lakers. It was, it was more than 20,000 big businesses that have received that funding because the banks felt that they can receive a larger ROI based off of that loan. So they were giving the big businesses the loans first. And that's the reason why our government has come back and said, we're going to, make sure that we take care of these small businesses, which they have not done yet. We're still waiting on resources. And this is a year and a half later that we're still waiting on resources. I got to make that clear. Now we could talk about the sports and entertainment.
Absolutely.
I actually manufacture product for the Dodger Stadium. We manufacture product for casinos. We manufacture product for Walmart, Total Wine and More. And so because of that, delivering at these locations, I was a delivery person, in our company, and I will still go out and deliver if I have to. But because of that, it's allowed us to look at the bigger picture and say, hey, we were asked to manufacture a blue drink for the Dodger Stadium, a blue lemonade. We're really proud of that hard blue lemonade. Just becoming a part of Women in Sports and Entertainment, which is called WISE. It's a group of women in sports and entertainment. We felt that there was more there. And so going to these arenas to drop off product, and it just gets you all hyped and excited and warm and fuzzy.
Right.
We also manufacture product for the little baseball stadium, the minor leagues in the AV at the Jethawks. And so it made us want to figure a path forward and how can we marry sports and entertainment. Although they are married exclusively. When you think about sports and entertainment, you have the Super Bowl, who has their big halftime show with entertainment, and you're just always trying to figure a path forward. And so that's what we've done with the WFLA. We created the Women's Football League Association in hopes to marry sports and entertainment and beverages. We'll have the ability to not only manufacture our own product, but put it in the stadiums in which we function. And now launching the WFLA, we're not only are we launching an amazing platform for women to participate in women's football, but we're also meeting the disparity of women's sports, something that has never, ever been done in the history of women's sports. They've never received a paycheck. They've never received health insurance or medical insurance. And that's one thing that we're dedicating to the sport of women's football. And we're really excited about the WFLA. And
you have some very interesting team owners in the WFLA, female. Help me out, Luke. What is it?
It's the WFLA, the Women's Football League
WFLA, right? So can you tell me who are some of the team owners on there?
Absolutely. So we have Ja Rule out of New York. He owns the New York Stars.
Wow. Shout out to Ja Rule.
Hey, shouts out to my boy. I mean, Ja came in. He was my first celebrity owner, and actually, Ja came up to our location up in the AV, and his purpose was to meet with me. He just launched Icon Entertainment in the Icon app. So if you have not downloaded Icon on the App Store, please do so. It's actually something like Instagram on steroids. It's an amazing platform, a social media platform. It's all live, all day, entertainers. It's an amazing platform. So shouts out to my boy Ja. But he came out to literally talk to me about Icon. Icon not only has this amazing platform, but they also provide artists an avenue to partner with people like me. So he has like his that side business where he signs them up to participate in different events. Of course, the pandemic hit,
right?
But prior to that, he was launching Icon Entertainment, and so he came out to visit me. He heard about the WFLA, and he heard about me saying, I want to have a halftime show that is entertainment based, just like the Super Bowl. So every halftime show of ours is a 20-minute halftime.
Wow.
And so he came out to partner with the WFLA to provide his artists, Fat Joe, J-Lo, Ashanti, all of his artists that are signed under Icon to do shows or to promote shows and things of that nature. That was his purpose of meeting with me. Once he learned about the WFLA, not only did Ja Rule come in and invest money into my business, because he came and dropped some cheese
right.
as an investor,
right?
But he also purchased a team, which was the New York Stars, and said, "Hey," he was like, "Lou, I love what you're doing, and I have to be transparent." He said, I want to dedicate some money, and I want to move this. He said, "This has never been done in the history of sports." He
That's
said,
right.
"I want to help grow this business, build this business," and he's been one of my right-hand man ever since. So we went from him coming to generate a contract with bringing us the element of entertainers for our halftime shows,
right.
to him buying a team, investing money, and becoming a bigger part of
what
the
you're
entity.
doing.
So
yeah,
I appreciate him. Shouts out to my boy. But he also, we talked about Deb Atney. They have Growing Up Hip Hop, Loving Hip Hop.
Right.
She's been the executive producer on Loving Hip Hop, Growing Up Hip Hop, What the Flockas, and now she's launching, Brat Loves Judy.
Right.
And she did his big, introduction of who she is on FX with Snoop Dogg, Dr. Dre, and all, everybody in hip hop. If you don't know Deb Atney in hip hop, then you just don't know the music industry.
That's right.
So, she owns the the Atlanta team. She came to me too. We met, we hooked up, and she fell in love with what we're doing for women. And Deb believes in moving women forward, not only in the entertainment industry, but she works a lot behind the scenes and giving back to her community and giving back to these girls. And she pulls these young girls out of strip clubs and tries to help them figure a path forward on the business side and the entrepreneur side. And I don't think that she gets the credit that she deserves. But nevertheless, she's come in, she learned about what we were doing, and she purchased the Atlanta team. Then she brought me her girl. She's like, "Luke, you got to get Brad in here. Brad loves what we're doing. She's hearing about what we're doing, and she wants to come in."
Right.
So the Brat came in and picked up the Chicago team. And then we have Tamika Dixon, who owns New Jersey. Tamika Dixon is your, I think she's won 3 or 4 titles of the WNBA. She's won titles in college,
nice.
Overseas. She's a WNBA athlete, and she basically came in and said, if it were not for someone like you, when Magic came in and
right.
they all came together to develop the WNBA, she said I wouldn't have had my career. So I have to be a part of what you're building for women in football. And so she's come in and picked up the New Jersey team, and it feels really good to have celebrities that understand the movement and understand the why that are moving women's football forward.
Professional football. That is such an amazing story, and I guess, and if anyone else out there is listening, they need to invest, buy a team. Come on, men ain't the only one that can play football. We can have women's football. One of the things after the Super Bowl, people are depressed. They're like, "Oh, no more football," So we could keep it. And
it's ironic that you say that because our season launches in April. It's a spring season.
Right.
We have our training camp in April. We launch our full season, and our preseason is in April. Our training camp is in March. Our full season launch is in May, and we play up until the NFL starts again.
That is dope.
And in our perfect world, if you have the XFL that is supposed to be coming back with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, their season launches in February. Their training camp is in January. They end in April. So it's just football all year round.
Now you have football all year round. You're just facilitating. You out here facilitating needs, Loopy.
100%.
That is so dope. So let me ask you, if there was, what advice would you give to a young black woman or a Latino woman that's like I want to be an entrepreneur and I just don't know what it takes to do that? What advice would you give them how to start to earn or do for yourself?
Well, I think first off, you need to figure out what is your path forward. What is it that you love? You know, I have a writer who is an athlete that just launched her own book based off of her recruitment into the WFLA. So, and that is her brand business. You know, I have Santia Deck, that is one of our all-star athletes who just launched Tronus, her tennis shoe line, in addition to being an athlete in the WFLA.
Right.
And just, I think it's understanding your brand building. And, you know, it's such a cliche to say, never give up. But during my time, I gotta shout out my boy Josh. You know, I remember going through some difficult times and not understanding why I was in the midst of hitting rock bottom. And I say that with a bank account, because when you're in a relationship and you don't work and your partner works, you only have so much access to money,
right?
You know, because your partner's saying, well, you can't take this, you can't do this, you can't do this, don't do it yet. But personally, as a person, I was feeling like every door was closing, every avenue that I would go down, there was just a block. I remember having to move because my partner basically said, if you want this bad enough, you cannot touch the bank account. You have to figure a path forward without touching what we have. This is our savings, this is our retirement, and you can't touch that. So if you need to
hold that thought. We got to take one quick commercial break, Luke.
Okay,
we got to pay the bills. I'm gonna be right back with you.
I understand. It's all good.
What does a Regis divorce, a Regis bankruptcy, and a Regis personal injury claim have in common? Regis lawyers. Lawyers who care. Convenient, affordable, respectful, and experienced. We work 100% for the 99%. Over 20 years, we've helped thousands throughout the Hudson Valley, New York City, and Long Island. For a free consultation with an experienced attorney, call or text us at 212-766-1100. Ici, hablamos español.
Millennium TV, bridging communities worldwide. We broadcast diverse international content from Europe, Asia, Africa, and now right here in the USA. Watch us via Roku on your smart TV. Submit your own content to 1530entertainmentllc@gmail.com. Download the Millennium TV app from the App Store to stream our shows anywhere, anytime. Millennium TV.
And we're back. Cap or No Cap. I'm with Loopy Rose, CEO of She Beverages. I want you to finish your thought, but I also want you to tell people where they can find you and how to invest in you. I'm sorry. Go ahead. The platform's all yours.
I appreciate it. Kev. I'll finish my thought first. And I think we were talking about the WFLA, and if I'm not mistaken, we were talking about. I'm sorry, I was sending text messages during the commercial break, so
no, that's cool.
I kind of lost it, but we were talking about brand building, right, and what that means. I made reference to Santia and to Ace, but I think that when we're brand building and building a brand, we have to understand what our brand is.
Right.
And then in doing so, figuring a path forward and how to build that brand. You had asked about what I would tell women of color or minority women. And, you know, and I think I was saying, as cliche as it may sound, never give up.
Right.
I was telling a story about my boy Josh and how I felt like I was losing it all. And I went to see him. He's also an entrepreneur, a local businessman. And I went to him and I said, yo, he was hiring, and I said, can I come and work for you? He said, what are you talking about? I said, I need to make some money on the side. And Kev, I had a drop top Benz, I had the Benz, I owned 2 motorcycles. I had, Rolexes of plenty,
right.
Things that I have acquired during the music industry, that I just decided to start selling off. I was like, that shit I can get over and over again,
right.
So I started selling off that stuff. I went to my boy and I said, I sold my car and started taking the bus. That's
wow.
how deep.
That's how bad you want it.
That's how bad I wanted it. That's how deep I invested myself, my time. And I went to my boy and I said, you know what, Josh, I need to find a job. And I see that you're hiring. Will you hire me? He said, I won't. And I said, what are you talking about? He said, Luke, you're better than me. He said, you're better than me. He said, everything that you've built, everything that you've done. He said, you are better than who I am. He said, I can't hire you, Luke. He said, you got to just keep pushing. You can't give up. And I went home like really depressed that day. And I felt really, really like I wanted to give up. And he sent me a meme. And the meme was of the gold miner who was digging for his diamonds. Mm-hmm. And on the top, it was a double meme. And on the top, he was digging for diamonds. And at the bottom portion, it showed he was almost like 2 feet away from reaching the diamonds, and it showed him walking away.
Oh, wow.
And it basically was like the never give up.
Right.
And he sent me that meme, and I literally pondered. I sat in darkness, I kept referring back to it, and it made me really, really take a hard look at how much I was investing in my time. Am I giving it everything I got? I need to do this from morning to midnight, to however long it takes me to get there.
Right.
And it was that meme that changed my life. And I just shared that with my niece the other day when she was telling me how depressed she was. She's a young entrepreneur. And I said, someone shared this with me. And I shared her that story. And she said, you just don't know how much this means to me, Auntie. I'm going to keep on fighting. But that changed my life. And that got me here. And that was, 10 years ago. So shouts out to Josh. And as cliche as it may seem, just never give up on the go.
And shout out to you for sharing that. Thank you. You just dropped some jewels.
Absolutely. Sometimes I think that we want to make ourselves look better. Over time, I actually, in my book, I'm writing about my truth and things I've lied about. And just over time, little white lies, you want to make yourself look bigger and better. When people ask about degrees and this and that, I've said, oh yeah, I got this, I got that, I got this. And then I finally had my aha moment where it's the people that I want to reach that don't have that. And the people that I want to reach that you want to own your truth and say, I am who I am because I built this. And I didn't build it on the seeds of having this degree or that degree or having, this happened to me or this great thing happened to me. You got to tell your story and own your truth. And so in my book, I talk about that, but nevertheless, I'm still writing it. And I own my truth. And it's important that we see ourselves as face value and know what our value is. So, but you were asking also about investing. Right now we are in our silent period, which means that before you go public, you have to go through a silent period. So the only way that you can invest, it's not in shares, it's in convertible notes. And I do have an investor relations director. So, She Beverages, info@shebeverages.com if you're looking to build, or even if you're just looking to reach out to me and want a word of advice or anything like that, Loopy Rose, the CEO @gmail.com. I always welcome people that are striving to make their mark or looking to better themselves or whatever they're looking to do career-wise. I like to invest in people as well. We own an investment firm aside from She Beverage Company, where we do invest in small businesses. We do acquire small businesses and things of that nature. So I just want to put that out there. Loopy Rose, the CEO @gmail.com. I'm always reachable.
Yes, you are. I'm so glad to have you on this show. You're making me California sick. I got to get down there. I really do.
Hey, you got to get down there, Kev. I miss you.
Yeah, I miss you too. Give me a couple of weeks. I'm gonna plan something, you know.
Okay.
So, but I love the fact that everything that you've done. I've loved the fact what you've done with my daughter. You know, you've nurtured her career. You're still very much involved in her career, following her boxing and so forth and so on. And you know, we got great things coming down the line. And I can't wait to read your book. Do you have a title for your book yet? Is there any title?
Yeah, that was the Black Wall Street.
The Black Wall Street, right. Okay. Right. And it's so the name is just like intriguing. You know, it's because, you know, when you think about who really built this country, right? It's us. And then so I kind of.
But I do think too. I named it the Black Wall Street behind the white walls because there's 8 black companies, 8 to date, that are trading.
Wow.
On Wall Street, and so, you know, as I was launching and pushing for our IPO. You know, I'm dealing with some unsavory situations to try to push my IPO forward. And I feel like it's because I'm a black woman trying to obtain an IPO. So, and that's just me and my opinion. I don't want people to get the wrong perception.
Right.
But, you know, I'm a black woman, and we've had such a notable remarkable relationship with our investors that I think that sometimes they see us as a threat.
Right.
And you know, when you understand an IPO or when you understand Wall Street, you're fundraising to continue to grow your brand.
Right.
You're fundraising to continue to grow, and I'll say, and those 8 companies, they're just not on, and I'm not talking about penny stock. I'm talking about capital markets, S&P, Standard & Poor's. I'm talking about the big business, which we qualify for NASDAQ global markets. We went from, you know, the penny stock to, you know, the OTC board, which means over the counter, from the over the counter to NASDAQ capital markets, from now NASDAQ capital markets to NASDAQ global markets. And then you have people saying, why are you worthy of being there when you're a black owned business? So I have to tell my story and then tell the story of what we've endured and things that we've encountered along the way as a black business. I'm wanting to launch an IPO, and it hasn't been, it's been unsavory. It's been almost disgusting the way that you're treated sometimes. You know, they expect you to know it all and know certain things and know the rule book and all this other stuff that you're learning how to go public as a black business. And so those are the things that I discuss in the book. And again, I'm still writing it, but I think that it's important to disclose this information when you're talking to people like us, who are wanting to launch and be a part of the bigger picture and creating a legacy and generational wealth for their families. And
it's funny because, you know, I've said this once upon a time that I said, I think I was talking to my brother Treyon, and I said, do you know who your great grandfather is? And he said, no. I said, neither do I. I said, and that's because he never left you anything. But Johnson & Johnson and Procter & Gamble know who their great grandfather is because they're still eating off of their money today. And the Rockefellers. And the Rockefellers and the Rothschilds and the De Beers, you know, and all of them. They know. The Budweisers and the Anheuser-Busch's and the, you know why? Because they've allowed them to participate in a situation that we're still literally fighting for our position in. You know, when I think about, you know, it's funny because people always ask me about, I'm mixed, obviously. And, you know, we think about the Martin Luther King days, and we think about, you know, the Malcolm X's, and we think about the people that have come before us to try to fight for us to have a position. Right. I compare myself to the Huey Newton
because I'm that Huey Newton that's still fighting
Fighting
for
for it.
justice. That's still, that people don't understand that. We need Huey Newton. We need Huey Newton to expose the truths and to expose the things that we've encountered along the way. Martin Luther King is good. He's the one that he had a dream. He talks about his dream. He talks about all the greatness that we can become as long as we come together. And then you have the Malcolm X, who's just a little bit more reserved because he knows the political side of things.
Right.
And then you have the Huey Newton that says, we're not going to tolerate the BS. We're not going to deal with this anymore.
Right.
We're going to form our own army. We're going to form our own people, and we're going to expose the truths. And I think that that's where I am with it, in the exposure of the behaviors that we've dealt with as Black people and that we're still dealing with. Because I don't want to blame it all on President Trump, but because we've had a president who is a little bit more relaxed when it comes to racism, that it's allowed the racists to come out in groves and think that it's okay to continue to be racist, and it's not.
Right. And bigger than that, we got to figure out how to create a system where we don't, like one of the things that I found very intriguing after slavery, there was a reconstruction period in history where there were actually governors, congressmen, many Black Wall Streets, because we had to work together because we had no choice but to work together. And so they had a system that was separate from the system where there was prosperity. And that's what gave birth to what we know today as Jim Crow laws. So, but if we were to do what our ancestors did, we could actually, we're running out of time too, Loop. I got to bring you back.
Hey, we are running out of time, and we may have to come back because if you think about Black Wall Street, they shut down Black Wall Street because it was so profitable. Think about Black Wall Street, and if you don't know the history, look up Black Wall Street. It was an area of profitable businesses that was burned down.
And we could do that again.
Yeah, absolutely. But Kev, I just want to say thank you so much.
No,
Cap or
thank you.
Cap, thank you so much for having me on
I
the show.
appreciate you so much for being on our show, and I promise we'll bring you back because this went too fast for me. We was just chopping up some real good game, I want to thank.
I love your show.
Thank you so much. I want to thank my producers of Cap and No Cap, M24 News, Millennium TV 24. We're located on Roku. You could download the app on your iPhone, Android, Fire TV. Download that right now. Download the app right now, and we'll be back next week, Monday, around 2:30. And this is my host. I'm keep saying host. I miss you, Andy. Where are you? I'm so
used. Watch it, Andy.
Yeah.
Andy, you better show up.
Yeah, we got to get Andy back.
Have a show.
I got to get Andy back. You are missed. And don't forget, he got a unity walk on August 7th from Gun Hill Post Lanes. But this is it. We'll be back next week. Cap or No Cap. I'm your host, Kevin C. Meggett. Thank you.